Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? We are back. Back on a little hiatus. I have been with my daughter for the last 2 weeks. She's gone back. Now I've got a cold. And here we are. What up, Ted? How have you been?
Doing good, Ryan. Just to let everybody know, the reason we're late is we had some technical difficulties. And obviously, you can see that they are persisting as only one of us is on video. But hey, we'll take what we can get. Ryan has a great voice, and that's probably all we need for today. So thanks for putting this together, and sorry that you're having technical details.
Yeah, I noticed something was wrong about a week ago, and then I totally forgot. And then I got off of work, came in, and hooked it up, and was like, "Hey, why isn't my camera coming on?" And then I was like, "Oh, let's troubleshoot this." And still, like 25 minutes later, we weren't able to handle it. So we went live. Want to give a shout out to James Durnall in the house. He says, "You sexy bunch of spud face cabbage lickers." That's it. Probably wouldn't feel like a normal Tuesday if we didn't get that from James. We got Bebop Jones in the house. What up, Bebop? Handling the business. But yeah, we're kind of, there's not much talk about in 49ers world, but we did have that Brandon Aiyuk interview that we both haven't talked about together with. I'm sure you've probably talked about it with Raj and some of your normal co-hosts, but we have not.
About Brandon Aiyuk?
Yeah, the pivot interview.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I've been pretty steadfast the whole time. I think Brandon wants to be here, and I think we want to keep him. So I think it'll happen. It's just a matter of what's that magic number that both sides can agree to. And early on in the off season, I was 24 to 26 mil.
Which they were extremely close to until other people signed, because
yeah,
I think what happened is the 49ers realized they were close, and they're like, "Oh, well, let's slow play this because we can save more money by kind of drawing this out longer." And I guess they felt they were living in a box, because while they were waiting for that to happen, Justin Jefferson signed for $35 million a year. And let's see,
Amon-Ra 30.
Yep.
AJ Brown 31, Devonta Smith 26.
Yes. And now you're just waiting for CD to fall to kind of really put that in there. Yeah. So, oh, you haven't seen it. We're here to give you the highlights. We're here to give you the highlights, James. So I'll tell you, if you want to go back and watch it, watch the first 30 minutes. That's really going to be a lot of 49ers Brandon Aiyuk news. And then like the last 8 to 10 is more of that. Other than that, they're just kind of talking about his childhood, which is important, but it's not really 49ers news. And then there's a lot of him talking about Jaden Daniels. And then Ryan Clark, if you didn't notice on the thumbnail, Ryan Clark pleaded like a child for BA to go to St. Louis. Like, it wasn't like, does Ryan Clark have no shame?
St. Louis.
Sorry, Steelers. Pittsburgh.
Steelers. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, he keeps saying that we don't want him, but it sounds like the 49ers offered Brandon Aiyuk.
So let's talk about the "they don't want me" post. Remember that one? We kind of were like, "Whoa, oh!" We were jarred by that one.
Yeah.
He was asked about that, and he said he just has his lady record everything that's going on so that we can look back on exciting time. It's stressful, but exciting. I want to have these memories, and I just want that moment. She caught that off the phone. She caught that when I got off the phone with the Niners. They told me that they told me what they told me, and I'll pass the information on to him. Essentially, he's saying what they told me. I felt that they said that they didn't want me, and that's what he was telling Jaden Daniels. And so he got some pushback. He said, "You said they told you that there's no." Ryan Clark, I believe it was, said, "You mean to tell me there's no way there's the 49ers said Brandon Ayuk, first round pick, all pro wide receiver. We don't want you back." What was exactly what they told you that prompted that conversation with Jaden Daniels? He said, "They told me that they didn't think that we were on the same page and that they didn't believe we were going to be." And that was about all that at the time. But a part of it is a part of contract negotiations, trying to sway stuff either direction. So whether that's 100%, sometimes when he was speaking in this interview, like, you don't know what to really take from it because he really didn't say much. It seems like he knows how to play this game and he's playing it because, well, he was asked, okay, let's see, what should we go on to? Did you see the notes there? Do you have the notes pulled up that I sent the link to? Because they asked how the process was going, and he said that in the beginning, they were essentially going back and forth every day. His agent would call him, and an hour later get on the phone again, and they kind of talk about what they had just had with the phone numbers. He said they thought they got real close, but then everything kind of dropped off. And that's when everybody else signed. I think they had their meal ticket and they were just going to draw it out to make the guy get thirsty for all that money and sign for a couple mil less. And now he's staring. Let's see. Okay. So this is nothing really he said. He says, I can't remember who said this. He says, "We know that what Debo brings to the table, and certainly not shortchange him. But from a natural receiver, pure receiver standpoint, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that you're the best on your team. You've earned it. We've all earned the right to be in the conversation of being the highest paid receivers in the game, whether that's either by the franchise tag, which sucks because it doesn't give you that long-term security. That's the 24 to 26 million per year. But on your market, based on your numbers, we would think that you would be certainly around 30 million, a year mark. And again, this is just me sitting on the sidelines, but I don't know the numbers. I'm not an agent." And BA just nods his head. And then after he gets done speaking, says, ball though. So right now, BA is looking at 30 mil. He knows. He also said later, he says, "When it comes to contract negotiations, I feel that the prices are slotted." And what does that mean? He kind of referenced the draft. It's like, no matter what you think you believe you're worth, when you go through the draft, wherever you get picked, that's your salary. That's your salary. So he's saying, I'm slotted into that 30 million a year mark because of my stats, which he is. This is why people like Richard Sherman was his own agent. I don't need an agent to tell me or to tell them that I want the $28 million a year that everybody knows I'm supposed to get because of everybody else's stats and what they're getting paid. Who else did that? Was it the linebacker? What's his name? Seahawks went to the Rams, back to the sea. Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner did the same thing. They know what they're supposed to be getting. So the 49ers trying to play long ball when you've got so many big contracts in the wide receiver market popping off, I think it's negligent of them. They really screwed the pooch here. What up, Red Gel? Red Gel Shell in the house. We also got Daniel Berry Sports Talk or Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the house. What up, Daniel Berry? Ted, I guess you're muted.
Yeah, I was muted for a minute there. I was just saying that document you sent is like a novel, man. There's a lot of info there. Thank you for doing all that work. I gave it a quick look. I did notice 24 to 26 million. I've been saying that all along. So glad to see. I guess he's been listening to the show.
I think the 24 to 26 million is what he's thinking the franchise tag would be. That's what I got from that conversation.
No, 30 is the franchise tag because Justin Jefferson's 35. AJ Brown's 31.
I've heard other people trying to say that the franchise tag was 21.
No, it couldn't be. It's the average of the top three guys. So
that's what 30, I thought. But
35, 31, and 30. It'd actually be like 32 million. And the franchise tag isn't until 2025 anyway. So
if we go back to what he says either by the franchise tag, which sucks because it doesn't give you that long-term security, but that's the 24 to 26 million per year. But in your market, based off your numbers, we would think you would certainly go around 30 million. And like I said, I don't know. I just know what I've heard from him. I've heard other people speculate what the franchise tag for the wide receiver is. I don't know if it's based off last year's and that these numbers that are popping off now aren't a part of the average. I don't know. That's the only thing that seems reasonable at this point, because with Justin Jefferson signing, that average should go the fuck up, especially when you're talking about the top three. Because you're talking about 35, 31,
like
30.
31. AJ Brown's like 30 or 31.
Yeah. So it goes what, to 33 million?
Next year, which is the year that counts, because we wouldn't tag Ayuk anyway. He's on his 5th-year option. We would in 2024. So we wouldn't even tag him until 2025. So talking about the tag this season is irrelevant. There's no way he'll be tagged this season.
Oh, Red Jet says she's got no days off on my IG timeline, reuniting all tribute to the content creator. Shout out to you, Red Jet. I'm sorry, I'm sick. Shout out to you for helping everybody out. She's all over the place, and she adds so much to shows when she's on them. It's funny, earlier the camera wasn't working, and I said, we might have to go without it. And he says, it might be addition by subtraction. Ted here. And when Red Jet's around, there is no addition by subtraction. It is all addition when she's around.
Agreed. Red Jet's great. Doing great work with Terranome. Awesome stuff.
James Durnall says, if he doesn't get paid, he's cutting this season short last year before a possible real build and avoiding injury to keep his market high. I think there might be some truth to this, but also at the same time, he's one of those guys where he in this interview, he explained that he wants the money, but it's kind of like a Trent Williams thing. He wants the money because with that money comes that respect. He's showing everybody else that he's worth that money, and he should get the respect of it from all his hard work, which I kind of understand, as a man.
I think he also kind of likes the attention. He's never been the lead dog on the 49ers.
Which was brought up.
He's got the spotlight now. So I think he wants to milk it out, even if he liked the 26 number and felt fine with it, what the 49ers already offered. There's probably a little voice in his head going, well, I could take 26 in August and get all this publicity until then and be like, everybody talk about me every day between now and then, and then still take the number, get what I want, and go back to being, second or third fiddle on the 49ers.
So he was asked, they said, ESPN every day they're talking about your contract. He's the next guy. He's the next star wide receiver. That's the next domino to fall. And being in that position, that's a position you've never been in your life, right? Are you good with that? Sorry, I took this from the transcript from the show, so some of the transcripts are messed up, and I didn't really go back and redo it. He says, cool. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. It felt like for the past 4 years, I kind of, took a back seat. This guy, that guy, this guy, whatever, kind of just did what I had to do. Now I'm in the position that when I wake up in the morning, I turn on the TV, they're talking about me. I get on my phone, they're talking about me. My mom is calling me, talking about me at work, whatever. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process. I know at the end of the day, this ain't the time for me, or this is the time for me. This is my time period right now. And before the season starts, to get paid and to maximize my value, to continue to show who I am as a player. So he totally does love it. Hands down.
Who wouldn't?
Got David Corona in the house. What up, David Corona? Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't been getting everybody their applauses. Applauser wasn't broken. Shout out. James Durnall, there's your applause. Red Jet, that's your applause. Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. So this is the other thing. They asked him how much influence from the other guys on their contracts does it have on your signings in your market. He says, I think a lot. I feel like when the season was over, I was trying to go back and forth. Oh, this is I kind of brushed on this. They were trying to go back and forth every day, right? So he's admitting right here that you snoozed on that deal, and now that deal's not relevant anymore. That deal is not relevant anymore. So that just proves in his mind the market value reset. The 49ers are still grasping it. I'm guessing they were trying to get to 25. You know what I mean? They were trying to get to 25 because they were holding at 24. And I'm guessing Brandon Ayuk was like 26. They thought they were close, doing something probably with guaranteed money, something like that, which he says he doesn't care about the guaranteed money, I believe, right? Wait, hold on. I might have heard something else and I'm just confused.
I don't know, man. Everybody cares about the guaranteed money. I think that's the biggest thing for most players.
Yeah, I think he wants the respect of the dollar per year, like a Trent Williams thing.
Oh, like 28 million and 10,000.
And 10,000. Yeah.
And 10,000.
And 10,000.
10K. 10K,
yeah.
baby.
So what else? Oh, he was asked on his numbers being leaked, right? 49ers. Really big on, no, we like to keep this in-house. We don't like to put it all out there. As John Lynch, I've heard him say a couple of times, as a player, I never liked my negotiations being discussed. I didn't like it. I thought it wasn't a good way of doing business, is pretty much what he said. So somehow all of a sudden it's a part of their business, because nobody goes to like Adam Schefter and these guys who doesn't in the know without direction. 49ers don't leak, right? The 49ers don't leak. So this was directed, and he says it's a little bit frustrating, especially when we're getting down to the details like that and we're putting down exact numbers in negotiation. There's that talks between the team and my team. We're trying to work through things, right through a lot of things. So for actual numbers and actual stuff like that to come out, I think that's a part of it. But it's a part of a dirty game. It's a dirty game. So I feel like, to me, social media is the way for myself to leverage me and my team to leverage myself and to leverage what I'm trying to get, because that's the way to get the message out there. That's the way to get the facts out there. And the facts are the facts. So I'm putting the facts out there. So everything you see on social media from this point out, I don't want you to really get freaked out about, because he's talking about a wealth principle right there. It's called leverage. Okay. He's leveraging, right? The other thing that's really important in the wealth principle is posture. If you can posture more, well, not in that sense, but if posture is like how you attack things. So if we're doing business and I'm nice, I might not have much leverage. So therefore I can't posture up as much. If I've got your ass, better believe I'm coming into those talks, letting you know I have the leverage. My posture is going to be up, and you're going to understand that I have the leverage, because I'm trying to get this for a steal now, because you are between a rock and a hard place, and I'm just putting you to the screws. So this is what he's trying to do with his social media points. He's using his leverage to posture, and he's making the 49ers squeal. Because why? He's got the base all settled. He's got the base all off settled. People that I know that love Brandon Ayuk are now saying, just let him go. What?
No.
What? Yeah. No. So what I'm seeing is like, he's got us by the balls right now, but he's trying to use us to get to the team.
Well, I guess everybody has their number, Ryan. So, at a reasonable amount, 24, 26, maybe 27 mil. Yeah, you got to pay him. 30 plus, maybe you do got to let him go, especially when you're already paying Debo 23, 24. You can't be paying your wide receiver room, north of 50 around 55 million. Not no room, just two guys on your wide receiver room, $55 million. That's too much money in a hard capped league.
Want to give a shout out to Chiefs Kingdom Live, saying what's up to Teddy.
Still pissed at you guys for the Super Bowl, for both Super Bowls.
Looks like he's pissed about letting Tyreek go.
Yeah, but bottom line is Chiefs own the 49ers until proven otherwise. Regular season and postseason. Kyle cannot beat Andy Reid until he does. So we'll see if that ever happens.
Holy moly.
But did you notice, Ryan, that Kyle has a Shanna stash now? Maybe he's trying to get some of that Andy Reid juju by, growing a stash like Andy Reid wears. Maybe he should gain some weight too.
Dude, he's like trying to do this whole Tom Selleck thing, and he ain't got the face or the head of hair for it. Okay, I'm just saying that, Kyle. Not to say that
sweet mullet too for the Christian McCaffrey, Olivia Culpo.
I got a mullet. My mullet's better than his. There's way more party in the back. Yeah. David Corona, we will get to your question at the end. Right,
I've almost got a mullet going right now, but I'm going to go get a haircut right after this. Nip that in the bud. But it's definitely getting long on the back here. Way longer than usual.
We got James coming in, says Chiefs Kingdom owes him a damn cheese fountain.
Yeah. Well, tell the story now.
Yes. You know what? This is the second time in this week that I've told this story. I told this to my stepmother, Terry. So Chiefs Kingdom, during that Super Bowl game, James Durnall here, who is from the UK. So mind you, it's probably like 3:00 in the morning when he finds out that when he's watching the 49ers lose. And he's also a little intoxicated. Well, he's intoxicated.
Had some whiskey.
Yes. And he couldn't figure out what happened to his cheese fountain the next day. And he, texts his wife or let her know that, he was missing the cheese fountain. And she sends him a picture back of the cheese fountain tangled in the trees, I don't know, 15 feet up or so. Oh my God. In such a down time, that made me laugh so much. It gave me hope. The cheese fountain.
Oh man, David Corona.
I told him we'd answer that at the end, but I guess he thought he needed to bring it up again.
I mean, it's huge news. Honestly, it's way bigger than any 49er news, which is Klay Thompson signing with the Dallas Mavericks. And apparently signing not for less money, but less money per year than I think. I'm not sure on the details. Like I haven't been following it that closely, but somebody told me that the Warriors offered him 2 years, 48, and the Mavs offered him 3 years, 50, which obviously is a lot less per year. But I think he wanted to play with Luka Doncic, and I think he felt maybe a little disrespected by the Warriors. I'll tell you, he made a damn lot of money when he was out for a year and not really himself for another year after that. So I don't know. I don't feel like he has any reason to be upset with the Warriors, but everybody's their own person and everything, I can't speak for him and whatnot. I don't feel like the Warriors did anything wrong to him, but good luck to Klay. And it's a real sad thing. It's the end of an era of Golden State. The big three of Steph, Klay, and Dre will probably never play together again. And honestly, I think it's probably a good thing for the Warriors. I was saying, before this all happened, that I thought they would keep Klay at least one more season. And out of sentimental reasons, and that it would basically be a lost season because he's making too much money for the value he provides.
Oops.
So I do think it gives the Warriors a chance to be better this year, but really sad. After winning 4 rings and being the best backcourt ever, Clay and Steph, clearly the best pair of guards ever to play together. Splash Brothers, no more. But again, it's the Niners channel, so I don't want to talk too much about
Go Sonics.
About the Warriors. Go Sonics. There you go. Bring them back to Seattle, baby.
Yeah. I seen Tanya Sayao tweeting something about people giving up on the Warriors if they didn't draft some guy. And she was like, pretty much like, oh, if that's how you're going to be about it, you can just go hit the road. You are the bandwagon fans that everybody talks about. And I just had to reply with the, clapping emojis because, like, I'm a Sonics fan, but I respect the shit out of that energy. You know what I mean? Like, I respect that to hell. So, like, even though it's not my team, I respect the shit out of that. I had to, let her know that, I didn't say, hey, I just gave her the 3 clappies. I didn't give her the whole that schmeal, but I thought it's true. Oh, we got Rob D in the house. What up, Rob D? We got Levi from Darwin's Raven in the house. Make sure to go check him out for all things Ravens.
The last thing I'll say about the Warriors is that I'm sure Bob Myers is sad because that was Bob Myers' first big hit in the draft, him and Draymond Green. Steph was already on the team when Bob Myers took over. So I'm sure Bob Myers is definitely, even though he's really kind of out of the basketball scene, and he's actually been doing some work with the Commanders. He helped them get Adam Peters to the Commanders. But I'm sure he's quite sad to see Clay go. Hey, and the other thing I'll just say, thank God it wasn't the Lakers. I'm so tired of all the Lakers, Niners fans, and the last thing I need is like a bunch of grief from them about getting Klay Thompson. So luckily I don't know many Mavericks fans, and the ones I know from when we played them on the way to beating the Celtics in the finals, they were all pretty cool folks. I will say they were good sports and most of them had pretty realistic expectations, and enjoyed interacting a lot with almost all of them on Twitter and X.
I want to give a shout out James Darnall. Thank you for coming through and spending time with us today. Enjoy your Austria versus Turkey match. I kind of want more cricket. I want more cricket now, but it sucks because they don't have like a season that's like very big. The T20 as far as I know. There's other things, but
don't some of those cricket matches last like 5 days or something, Ryan?
So that's what do they call them? They're it's not like it's like a test match or something like that. And yes, they go all day. It's like some of the things is crazy about that. I just what? But there was an Australian dude that passed away last year, the year before that. Holy moly, I can't remember his name, but if you watch he's a bowler. Well, he was a famous bowler, and like the first, I think it was his top like 7 pitches or bowls, and like the first one was the only one I could actually see without it being slowed down what the hell happened, and it was crazy. And then like if I remember correctly, it was the one where the ball bounces behind the guy. No, that was the second one. I think it was number 6. The ball bounces behind the batter and then immediately hits a different direction, goes straight up and hits the wickets. So he like tossed a pitch around the guy and still was able to change the direction of the ball on the bounce and hit the wickets perfectly. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. That's when I found respect for. I was like, oh, Waruna knows what the hell he's talking about. This ain't no stupid sport. These guys out here playing trick shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different skill. You know what I mean? Because obviously 105 pitch going past you is very intimidating. You know what I mean? And cricket, the ball's kind of intimidating because it's it's a little heavy thing. But other than that, like, it's not going 105.
When you talk bowling, the only thing I can think of is the Big Lebowski. The dude abides.
I was never one for that movie that much.
No,
I think I've seen it once.
You clearly didn't like White Russians then, huh?
I do not like White Russians. No.
It's kind of a girl drink, let's be honest. I mean,
White Russians, I don't like. What is
I've
the
never
duck?
seen a dude drink White Russians before.
Does duck fart have Kahlua in it too? I don't like any of them coffee liqueur. Ugh, nah. I don't like coffee whatsoever. So anything. I had somebody try to tell me, "Oh, try that Monster Java. Monster Java. It's really good. It doesn't taste like coffee." I was like, "Oh, what does it taste like? Chocolate and coffee." I was like, "I don't like coffee, bro. You said it doesn't taste like coffee, and then you describe 2 words. You describe it with 2 words, and one of those words is coffee. Come on."
It doesn't taste like plain coffee.
I don't care. I probably had a cup of coffee maybe less than a handful of times. Seriously,
Jeez,
it's
man.
probably
I have like 3. I have 3 a day on most days. 2 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon.
Nope. I wake up and go to work. I'm alert. We're good to go.
It's amazing. No, I mean, it's a good thing to avoid if you don't need it.
Yes.
It's definitely costly, especially if you get them at like Starbucks or wherever.
Oh. So they were talking about, was he upset? Was Brandon Ayuk upset about how many times he was targeted in the game?
Super Bowl?
Yeah, during the Super Bowl. And he pretty much said, "I just feel like you're throwing the ball to me 5-6 times a game all year. I went for 100 6 or 7 times, or 6-7 times this year. I turned 70 catches into 1,400. And then here we are right now talking about being paid, getting paid top dollar in this market, but don't know what it is in the Super Bowl. It's tricky. We moved on past from the Super Bowl." So you could tell he was like, oh, there's another part. They asked him essentially if like the last play really bothered him. He said, "No, that wasn't it. There was other plays before that I would take back, or I would be upset about," which I like, because to me, if you're gonna sit there and put everything on the last play of the game, I think you're setting yourself up to fail, because there's so many more mistakes before that led you to that point, that if you don't take time to address, they're just going to end up biting you again. So I think it's important that he thinks about other things.
Well, the thing I would say about that is that Brandon Ayuk didn't play all year against Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed. And so these are 2 of the best corners in the NFL in 2023. And so it's natural that he would have less targets. And I agree with you. It's not a good idea to wait to the end, especially in the Super Bowl. It wasn't a good idea to wait till the end because Feliciano was injured at the end. And then Chris Jones was just coming untouched. And poor Brock Purdy didn't have time to connect to Juwan Jennings, was wide open in the end zone. And Brock Purdy was unable to get the ball to him because Chris Jones was right in his grill. So yeah, I agree with some of that and disagree with some, but it's good stuff.
But it's not like he was locked down when they were playing man. Like, that's the thing. Okay, so if they're going to come out and man, all right, we're switching to a play where we're giving Brandon Ayuk the ball. Why? Because he can get open. All right, boom. We need to produce points. So make him play us man, give it to Brandon Ayuk, and then we'll run the ball a couple more times while they play zone. Once we figure out it's man again, boom. I don't know. I just don't think that people were utilized correctly. I think like how do they stop our run game? Pretty much. Christian McCaffrey had what? It was like 3.2 yards per carry in the Super Bowl, when his average is close to 6, I think, during the season, over 5 and on its way to 6. And then what? And then we keep running it with him. We keep running it with him when it doesn't work. Like, can't we switch that up? So I can understand why he's upset, because we ran CMC into the ground for nothing while Brandon Ayuk is blocking instead of running down the field with the ball in his hand.
Some truth to that.
They asked him if he was in a more pass-oriented offense, where you were a top 10 in targets. Is that what you think about? And he's like, yeah, that's what we do. Jaden Daniels. That he says, yeah, that's what we do. And he's pointing to Jaden Daniels. He's saying, you know, we talk about me being on his team and what we would do and how we would be passing all this time. So he's got that in the back of his mind, but he also says that he likes it here. He appreciates the guys he plays with, but he also said that he wasn't going to take any hometown deal. Let's see what he said. Do you ever wonder about if there'll be enough money for everybody? He says, nah, that ain't me. I mean, that ain't nah. Like, he was like, immediately, nah. He said, that ain't my business to get into. I'm worried about me right now. Yeah. And when I say I'm worried about me in terms of my financials, I don't worry about what the financials they're going on, or they got going on, or this person got going on. I don't know about that. I don't know. If you can't afford a Lamborghini, you can't have one. Which is true. Which was something that was brought up earlier. And then they asked, how do you focus on not taking contract negotiation personally? Because it's hard. And then Brandon Ayuk goes, are you not supposed to? And Ryan Clark says, I'm asking you. I took them personally every time. And Brandon Ayuk says, oh yeah, I'm taking them personally. I'm taking it personal. I have a vision for what I see myself, and you don't see me, or as you don't see me as that. You can't financially do whatever. I'm not sure. I just feel like it's so hard. It's no hard feelings though, if you don't want to do it, or if you can't do it, I'm sure somebody will. What about hometown discount? No, we ain't doing no hometown discount. And then later he says, we'll see. He said that he sees himself, if he guessed, he'd see himself wearing a 49ers uniform. But there's one little thing that I wanted to point out. Another reference to the doghouse. To the doghouse. And the fact that it was a 2-year doghouse. When he was asked around Trent Williams, he says, that's my dog. Somebody that I don't like to... that's my dog. That's somebody I don't like to throw around Big Bro too much. In other words, he appreciates the shit out of him, calls him Big Bro, and he doesn't do that for anybody. He's taught me a whole bunch of stuff. Get me the passing game passing on information, giving me stuff that I could take and actually put and be used. He says, I remember there have been times where my rookie year or my second year, I'm in the doghouse, whatever the case may be, and I'd be outside in the parking lot ready to black out and go crazy. And he's like, bro, just trust me, because you're going to be in this position that I'm sitting right now. Like, leave it alone and just, yeah, it's hard to, but yeah, pretty much said that Trent Williams would chill him out when he was freaking out about being in the doghouse. So what's up with this doghouse?
We've seen it a few times that Brandon Ayuk is one of the few who actually got out of it.
Yeah. Also, they got into talking about Brock Purdy. And Ryan Clark asked Brandon Ayuk, what does Brock Purdy think of when people talk about him? And I don't know if he just didn't hear any of this, but BA's like, oh, what did everybody say? And he goes, oh, what did you say? And Ryan Clark says, what I said was, when everybody got upset at me was that quarterbacks that were left: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. And what I said was I didn't think it was bad, but I thought those guys were more talented humans, and I didn't say that Brock Purdy couldn't play. Which he forgot to mention that he said that Brock didn't raise the level of play for anyone on the team after his guest had just had his best 2 years with him and had just earned BA and heard BA compare him to Jaden Daniels. So he didn't fully out himself into what he had said, but he definitely was a man and brought it up, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, that's I think everybody knows that Brock Purdy elevates the team. We've seen him elevate it at least over Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So
what up, Anchel? Appreciate you stopping by. Everybody go check out 49er Media. Anchel does a great job over there putting out the content. Trying to go from the doghouse to the doghouse. Yeah, that's right, Rob. We already own the Lamborghini, but the garage is trying to max charge for the annual service. I don't know. Who's the Lamborghini in the wide receiver room? You think it's Debo? I don't.
I mean, I don't know. Debo's obviously not much of a route runner and doesn't have much of hands. But when
Debo's like that, the ATV, or like, something that's hella fun. You know what I mean? You're having a blast on that thing. It's not a daily driver. It's not a necessity. It's a luxury. Brandon Ayuk is, I don't know. I would think that Brandon Ayuk's the Buick, and because my grandma and grandpa, they had, well, one side had a Buick, and my grandpa had like a Datsun truck or a Nissan truck, a real tinny one, looked like a love truck kind of neat. So I would say Brandon Ayuk is the Buick, because that's where you do all the special shit in the Buick. You know what I mean? That's what gets all the job. But the workhorse is the truck. You know what I mean? That's kind of like Juwan Jennings. You could say it's Debo, but Debo is kind of a luxury. So I don't know if Debo is the Suzuki sidekick. Lots of fun till it flips. Hey, that's kind of true. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you have to have a vehicle like that in your house, but if you got one, you taking it out for a spin anytime you can. Yeah, Bebop Buick. Grandpa fell off a 10-foot ladder at the age of 80, broke his back, and told Grandma that she had to move the truck because we're going to the hospital in the Buick. If I remember correctly, it was a Skylark. It was white. It had red interior. Going on long trips, I would get sick in that thing, or, a little upset. But you did all the errand running in the Buick because that was the fancy car. You had to look like you were important. Josh Dobbs had an interview that I saw. I can't remember where I saw this. I found this little Josh Dobbs interview, and he was talking about Brock Purdy. He said when you watch his game, like he plays consistent football. I think like that's the difference between top level guys and not the top level guys. The guys aspiring to get to the top level is one like time on task. Like best guys obviously have played a lot of football, but to like the really good guys are so consistent. Like when they do the boring stuff over and over, so they throw an easy stick route, they throw a flat route every time. It's open, it's accurate. They give a guy a catchable ball so he can get upfield and take advantage of yards after catch. And then when the defense comes up, or they get an advantageous look to throw the ball and throw in a cut, like they hit him, they make those boys play those plays occur because they were doing boring stuff and consistent level. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's boring, a boring player when I say this. I'm saying that he's very consistent and very accurate consistently for a quarterback, and that's what makes guys really good in the NFL. Which I've been saying is a strong point for the past year. Once I kind of realized what his game was and what we're looking at, I realized we've got a really accurate, proficient passer. Can he drop a dime in a bucket all over the field? Maybe not. But everything this system asks him to do, he's very good at, to the point where he can throw the ball with so much anticipation that even when the defender has a better play on the ball, he's not ready for it because it's on him so quick. When they turn around, it's already on. They don't know what to do. That's what I've noticed. Because remember, I used to be all scared about his almost an interception each game. Sometimes he'd have two, not last season, but the previous season, his rookie season. That was one of my big hangups. And what I realized was he's throwing it with so much anticipation. You're not going to be able to tell him to not do that and not affect the production of this offense. But also at the same time, it almost looks like it's not a problem for the most part because it's on them too quick for them to take advantage of it. So let's see. We got
one
Kenny
thing I'll
in
say
the
about
house.
Brock Purdy. One thing I'll say about Brock Purdy is that our drop passes dropped dramatically with Brock compared to Jimmy G. We had tons of drops with Jimmy G and barely any with Brock. I think we had the least drop passes in the league in 2023. So pretty awesome.
Oh, he's also one of the most, what was it? He had one of the lowest inaccuracy rates, or I can't remember what it was. There's some kind of a thing. Geno Smith was essentially had the best percentage at 20. I think Brock was at 24.
28.
What was it?
It was Sharp football, Warren Sharp.
Warren Sharp. Yep, that was probably the same thing.
And so it was the highest rate of incompletions due to inaccurate passes.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson was bad, 43.9, the worst.
All that guaranteed money, doo-dah.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor, 40%. Trevor Siemian, 38.8. Bryce Young, 37.7. Lamar Jackson. Don't listen, Darwin's Raven. Don't listen, Levi. 36.7 for Lamar Jackson. Jordan Love, 36.2. I will say I think Jordan Love was pretty inaccurate early in the season, but I think he got better as the season went on. So I think that might be a little bit inaccurate of Jordan Love being inaccurate.
That's really interesting. Kind of something I'm really kind of interested to look at this year is, what does Jordan Love look like?
I think he's going to be dynamite. I'm worried about him.
He's got the potential, but at the same time, that play against us in the playoffs was a dumbass play. On 1st and 10, you throw an interception down the field when you could have just thrown it away and lived to play another down.
Yeah,
that gives me a lot of pause.
I mean, he's not a rookie, but he was, first year as a starter.
He is not a rookie.
No, fourth-year player, but first year as a starter, so not too inconceivable. Trevor Lawrence, 36.1.
Be behind Aaron Rodgers for all them years. He never did anything like that.
CJ Stroud, 35.6. Aiden O'Connell, 35.4. That was who took over for Jimmy G. Kenny Smallhands Pickett, 35%. Easton Stick, back up for the Chargers, 34.9. Stafford, 34.9. Josh Dobbs, 34.8. Daniel Jones, 34.6. Tua, 34.3. Mac Jones, 33.1. Sam Howell, 33. Zappy, 32.9. Jimmy G, 32.2. Ryan Tannehill, 32.1. Joe Flacco, 30.9. Gardner Minshew, 30.8. Justin Fields, 30.8. Derek Carr, 30.1. Desmond Ridder, 29.5. Baker Mayfield, 29.2. Jalen Hurts, 29.0. Joe Burrow, 28.9. Our one and only Brock Purdy, 28.7. I thought it was 28. 28.6 for Zach Wilson, 28.3 for Kyler Murray, 27.8 for Josh Allen. So Josh Allen has lower rate of incompletions due to inaccurate passes than Brock Purdy. That's surprising.
Also, we kind of got to give a shout out to Kyle Shanahan. I just thought of this. This is like the first season in a very long. This last season was the first season in a very long time we didn't have to play a backup quarterback. Didn't have to play a backup quarterback.
Yeah,
we decided in one game to play one, but we didn't have to. So there you go, Shanny. There you go.
I would argue that we should have had a backup quarterback against the Bengals. You know, when we let him play 6 days after getting a concussion, I think that was a mistake. And
I don't know if that would have ended much better.
I'm not saying it would end better. It just would
Sam
have been
Darnold was
risk.
Frightened against the Cardinals, was it? Or was it the Rams? Rams. He looked frightened against the Rams.
Yeah. Sam Darnold was terrible. Good riddance. So where were we? Will Levis, 27.4. Dak Prescott, 27.2. Justin Herbert, 26.4. Jared Goff, 26.3. I think you can thank the Detroit Lions offensive line for a lot of that, though. Russ Wilson, 25.3, getting towards the top here. Patrick Mahomes, 24.5. Kirk Cousins ahead of Patrick Mahomes, 23.2. Jake Browning, 22.2. That's the backup for the Bengals. And at number one, the most least incompletions due to inaccurate passes, Geno Smith, 21.6%.
Yeah.
Less than half as inaccurate as Deshaun Watson. Crazy.
Yeah, that could be one of the reasons why they didn't really decide to move off of him this year. Or it doesn't look like they're looking to move off of him. Because he's not a bad passer. He's not. I'm not saying he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but if you give him a system that he can sell out to and totally understands, that guy can win you games.
I was just on with Candace Higgins yesterday.
Candace.
From Ethos Seahawks, one of the few good, Seahawks fans and creators out there, along with our buddy Joe Stevens and Eric. What's Eric's last name? I'm blanking at the moment. He's a good
Wallace. Eric Wallace.
Eric Wallace. Yeah, there's a few decent Seahawks folks out there. Just you can probably count on one hand, but hey, that's more than none. But Candace was saying that she really feels like Geno is a fair weather quarterback. I said Brock Purdy's a fair weather quarterback until proven otherwise. I don't trust him in the rain. She said the same thing for Geno Smith, that he rocks it in domes, but outdoors not so much. So kind of interesting from a Seahawks fan. So
yeah, I'll have to talk to Joe about that.
All right, so we got to read Rob D's joke here real quick. Do you mind if I read it? Why do you wear a tuxedo to a vasectomy? This is appropriate because I need to probably get one of these soon. We've had 2 kids, not looking to have any more. So I guess I need to dust off my tux so that I can be. So if I'm going to be impotent, you got to look impotent. I think there's supposed to be an R in there, like important. Yeah, that's cute. I like that, Rob. Good joke. We've been missing Silly Fungi. So someone's got to take over the dad joke mantle. So thanks for doing it, Rob. We appreciate it. It's not necessarily that funny, but it's very punny. All right. So what else we got, Mr. Ryan?
I think that's really it. Unless you wanted to.
Well, we were going to talk about. Weren't we going to talk about?
Yeah, but then I started going through making the notes on the thing so we could have more in-depth stuff to talk about the one thing.
So you want to save that for next week?
Yeah, probably best.
Predictions, sort of like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't want to keep you. I know you got to get back to work as well. So I always appreciate you making time, taking extra time for your long lunch on Tuesday so we can rock this together.
Also, we got Leon Sandcastle in the house saying Debo is like a Plymouth Prowler. Is that like the Plymouth Prowler that Cat Williams had in Friday or next Friday. I believe it was yellow.
He's a funny character.
Oh man, I love that man.
He's
hilarious.
He is funny, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there any? Oh, I can't remember what the name of the movie is. I never saw the movie, but I saw a clip from it where he's talking about the Caucasus Mountains and about how his woman had another child while he's been locked up for like, I don't know, 10 years or so, and he got a child with a binky in its mouth who does not look like it came from him. He says it looks like the guard behind him. But yeah, no, that part is so hilarious. It gets me almost inaudible. Yeah.
No, it's good stuff. And yeah, I was just looking to see if there was any breaking news for us to report, but it's 4th of July week. Things are going to be slow, and I'm not expecting to hear much. I mean, I guess the only thing to talk about, Ryan, is rookies report in about two weeks on the 16th, and then a week later the vets report on the 23rd of July, and then the first open training camp practice will be July 26th, and they go through till August 7th. I think there's about 9 dates again, like last year. Only 2 weekend days, one Saturday, one Sunday, a couple Thursdays, and a couple of one other day of the week, maybe 2 Mondays, I think. And the rest is just 1 day of the week each. But I'm looking forward to that. I will be out of town definitely next week, and I think so that'll be the 9th, and I think as well the 16th I might be back. So let's play that by ear, but definitely most likely won't. I'll bring my stuff to be able to do the show, and you never know. I can't say for sure I can do next week.
No problem.
Chances are, with 2 small kids and no childcare, my wife will just be like, no, I need you to take care of the kids. Anyway, it's great. I've been missing you for 2 weeks, and I miss you, unfortunately, for probably one more here.
My daughter caught her first fish.
Kenny knows the drill. Yeah, evenings and weekends are tough for me. But you never know. It's the same type of thing. It's like I can't commit now, but like day of, I might be like, hey, if you still want me, I'll pop on. Just if like an hour before things seem to be calm. You never know, but hard to commit long term for me and far in advance for evenings and weekends.
Do you have any plans for the 4th?
We're gonna go to Carmel for the 4th, and then we're headed down the coast to Ojai, and then eventually to Palos Verdes, to a resort called Terranea down there. We had been nearby there when we went to Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach, which we really loved, and we heard good things about Terranea, so we're going to check that out. I think I'll bring bikes to Carmel, but I don't think they'll make the rest of the trip. But we'll see. It's sort of be a game time decision of whether we take one car. Because if we bring the bikes, basically I take a whole car full of bike stuff with trailers and Ford's bike and commuter e-bike, my mid-drive e-bike.
Nah, bro, don't take the bikes.
Trailers. Yeah, it's just a hassle to worry about them being on the back of the car and in a hotel room. And
Nope, not going to do it.
And I think, honestly, I hurt my calf 2 weeks ago Friday, and it's doing better and better all the time. And I think by the time I get back, I'm probably ready to go back out and do some insane trails again.
Anytime traveling with kids, less is more.
Yeah, I agree. So that's probably just a good chance to take a break from the bikes. It's just I've been enjoying doing the bike channel, the Teddy Talks Bikes.
I've seen that.
I'm up over 100 subs already in about a month, and got some good videos. Some great. If you guys haven't seen the one that says "Watch out for the speed bump," it is priceless. I could play it on my phone if you guys want to see it here. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan? I'll leave it up to you. But
depends if it's going to look good.
I'll
give you full screen.
Okay. All right. We'll try that. And it's going to take me 2 seconds here to look it up. But basically, we were up at Tahoe. It was about a week ago Sunday, and we rode down to Tahoe City, and then we were coming back, and my son came whipping down the driveway of the place we stay, and I was just like, well, I don't want to ruin it.
Are you in trouble with your wife, Ted?
Always.
I see the bed's now down instead of up, so I want to.
Oh well, we had a house guest.
That's the other thing I thought too, but I wasn't going to lead with that because I didn't think it was funny.
Oh yeah, we have a house guest.
I did notice when I zoomed in,
and I haven't gotten back to flipping. The jersey is still underneath the bed.
I was just looking there and I was like, that's normally not like that. And then I realized, oh, there's pillows. That's a Murphy bed, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
And I was like, why is the bed down? And I was like, well, it could be somebody staying with him, but it'd be more funny to say he's in trouble with the wife.
I'm always in trouble with the wife. That's nothing new. I'm a troublemaker. I always have been. All right, so let's play this and see if you guys can see this. So we're coming down the driveway here, and you'll see my son zip around to the left. There he goes on his little ripper.
Watch out for the speed bump. Watch out for the speed bump. Watch out for the speed bump. Oh, buddy. Oh, wow.
Hey, that's how you learn, though. He was probably really close to shitting his pants there. And he realized when Dad says, watch out for the speed bump.
Really good recovery, though. I was like watching my, biking with my son career flash before my eyes. Because I knew plus in the video before that on the way to town, I'd said to him, like, hey, buddy, be careful because you're wearing shorts and short sleeves. If you wipe out, it's really going to hurt. Because normally he has like a jersey and like padded pants. And then once all that's on, then I put like elbow pads and knee pads on him. And he had none of that. And I was just like, oh man, if he wipes out. So when I said, oh buddy, I was like, oh buddy, this is going to hurt is what I was thinking. And thank God he landed. He's later in the little video, he goes, something in my mind told me to hang on to the handlebars. And I'm like, thank God, buddy. Thank God he did. Because
one thing I found was with my daughter, if you rush up like something's wrong, she's going to act like something's wrong.
And start crying. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'd come up, and are you okay? And like
normally on it, son.
Normally she'd kind of, yeah, I'm okay. And you could tell she was a little shook up, but she's not crying and bawling about it. She understands. Okay. And she's fine in a couple minutes. You know what I mean? So it was like, that's how I approach that.
He's not much of a crier, honestly. So
that's good.
If he is, it's something pretty serious.
So for the 4th of July, we have nothing but like Indian reservations around that sell fireworks. So there's kind of. I used to live next to the biggest one, so I don't really wake up for anything less than a quarter stick of dynamite.
There you go.
You know what I mean? It's got to be a big. It's got to be a big mortar to wake me up in the middle of the night. I just learned to sleep through it when my daughter was young. I could sleep through her crying and all this and that, but there was like certain times where my body was like, you need to be awake. Like one of the times my ex fell. She put down my daughter and then fell into the doorway. And like I was awake right before that happened for some odd reason. It was weird. Like my body knows, but like other things, I will sleep through a crying child. Like she was so mad at me. I'm like, look, I don't know what's happening. If it woke me up, I would be awake because I couldn't go back to sleep with that, but I'm sleeping through it. So
I can relate to that 100%. My wife is so pissed at me for not waking up with the child in the middle of the night, the young one. But it's just like you said, if you don't hear it, you don't hear it.
My body, when I'm sleeping, realizes everything's under control. That's fine. That's normal thing. The baby's going to cry, right? That's what my body's, I'm guessing, telling me while I'm sleeping. But when other things are going, it's like, you need to be awake right now because something's about to pop off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll have a great 4th of July. I got the day off. I don't understand why we don't have the next day off, but whatever.
Nice, you too. And then we'll see you probably on the 16th.
Yeah.
If not next week. Next week's TBD. Game time decision.
Yep. Yep.
Or day before we should know.
So with that, I want to thank everybody who dropped by today in the chat. Really appreciate you guys. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Niners, you need to sign Brandon Ayuk.